Hey, welcome to and welcome back to Total Spotfest. We're on a little bit tardy this evening, thanks to Tony Khan. Thank you, Tony Khan.
Thanks, Tony.
Do you guys do you guys do like the slow presentation at the beginning of every show? It's just like
got to make a show of it, man.
He's holding my baby.
It's the entertainment business, and I'm on top right now.
If anything, I do appreciate your commitment to the bit.
You got to stick with the gimmick.
I'm acknowledging you right now.
Yes,
you've been acknowledged.
We have. I think we've slowly driven our buddy's wife to. If she wasn't so much like us, we have driven her crazy because we have like all the wrestling gimmicks we do on our bowling league every week now, Austin. Like we were hardcore last night too with it. Like,
it was great.
We were committed.
So we too sweet each other every time we get a strike, and if we leave one pin, we always just raise up one to acknowledge them. Acknowledge the one pin, and then after a while we started getting strikes, and we started doing the Scott Hall in there, and then like I got on a heater in the last game, so I busted out that part of it, and then did that part of the Scott Hall. Yeah,
we were on the very end lane, so he did it, and then he started too far to the left, and he's like, oh, so he moved back and then did it again. So he did two little short bursts for it. It was actually really nice.
Yeah. Next time, y'all got to get new like team shirts made. They should look like the $1 Million Man sequence tuxedo, but like a bowling shirt.
The best. Yes,
that would be rad.
Why didn't we think of that?
I legit.
It has the $1 million belt right here.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, dude.
I could do that. All right. Well, we know what JJ is going to be doing this weekend.
That's happening.
Actually, no, I'm going to be in Topeka this weekend, as a matter of fact. My dad preaches out in like nowhere, Kansas, and we're doing Easter a week early, so we're doing it anyway. So, yeah, that'd be fun, middle of Kansas, yay! But thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for watching. We do appreciate you giving us some of your time. Yeah. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. I am JJ. That's Jamie. Our champ, of course, is Austin Reddick. If it's your first time here, hello and welcome and hello. We'd love to see you back. Hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the little bell icon so you know when we go live, if we're ever delayed by the NCAA tournament. Again, you could definitely get a notification. And definitely give us a big thumbs up. It helps out quite a bit. So.
And I'm being a smart ass, so it's all good.
No.
Are you
not
here?
You.
So do we want to talk about Wednesday Night Raw? Oh, wait. It's Dynamite.
You were
when they had to preempt it one time, they literally called it Thursday Raw Thursday. And I never understood why they had to put Thursday twice.
That sounds like a Vince McMahon thing.
That is
it absolutely
classic
does.
Vince right there.
But we didn't get Thursday Raw tonight. We got Wednesday Rampage. And what a treat it was. I mean, we'll get to that eventually, but
yeah, I mean, just
all night
overall,
wrestling.
Collectively, gentlemen, I really enjoyed the 3 hours, and dare I say, I'd be okay with 3 hours at this point because then I get more storylines. I got two women's matches. I got two tag team women's matches.
I actually was going to ask you about that, both of you about that, because there had been rumors the network was eyeballing the thought of doing a 3-hour broadcast, that Tony was eyeballing the thought of a 3-hour broadcast and the whole 9 yards, right? I know that Jamie and I have long been opposed to the 3-hour broadcast, but after seeing what they did tonight, I think you've already given your answer preemptively, Jamie, here, but Austin, would you be opposed to a 3-hour Wednesday night?
I wouldn't just be opposed to it. I would be vehemently against it. Busting out the thesaurus for how much I do not want Dynamite to go to 3 hours. Tonight worked because you got a 2-hour show and then you got overtime wrestling. It's just like when I'm watching my Nuggets play some basketball every once in a while.
Yeah.
Just the other week, it goes into overtime. Cool. It's a surprise. It's a one-off. I get a little free basketball, take a little bit more time watching than I planned. But I don't need every single game going into overtime. The pacing of tonight worked because you had a show that really peaked 2/3 of the way through, and then you got some fun and still very good stuff after that. If you chose to stick around and watch instead of being forced to stay around for 3 hours to catch the more important stuff they're going to back in the show with.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like the 3 hours, but to your point, on special occasions, like if we go back to WCW Monday Night Nitro, Monday Night Raw, what they're doing now, like I think I'd be out so hard so fast. You know, it's just a matter of, it's a lot of wrestling. And the thing that WWE is able to get away with theirs, and I noticed it watching Monday Night Raw. Excellent Monday Night Raw, by the way. I'm not going to poo-poo on it. I really enjoyed Monday Night Raw. But the amount of commercials they have, it is a 2-hour show. You know, where this one was a legit 3-hour show because it had picture-in-picture and all the things, and you always saw all the action, and there was a lot in Rampage. Rampage had arguably the best wrestling out of the entire night. Like, wrestling.
There was 5 matches on Dynamite. There was 4 matches on Rampage, okay?
Well, hold on. There were 3.5 matches on 4.5 matches on Dynamite. I'm not giving.
We'll get to that in a second. I don't.
I'm not doing that.
Personally, I don't. I agree with both of you. I think I like your sentiment, Austin. You know, because Jamie's heard me talk about this for years. One of my favorite things in sport. Yes, I'm a giant hockey fan, but one of my favorite things in sports is playoff overtime hockey. Because as opposed to the regular season, it's not this 5 minutes and then we do 3-on-3 and then after that we do a shootout. It's no. We're going to play until somebody wins. And it can go 20 minutes or it can go 7 hours. It's amazing, but it can be grueling as well. So I get the sentiment totally. We'll see what they do. Like I said, I know that there's probably those brass somewhere in Warner Media, and you know, especially if they start flashing some money at Tony, I wouldn't be surprised if they try it maybe on more occasion, but hopefully it doesn't become regular.
I would rather see them expand Rampage to 2 hours, which taping wise would be a nightmare because you have 2 shots a week to tape in front of a live crowd, so you've got to expand that somehow. But I'd rather see Rampage go to 2 hours then Dynamite go to 3.
I know how you do that. You don't include ROH in your live performance. You make ROH like TNA almost, where you do like bundle recordings. Okay.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, you go to a place. You know, they come to Kansas City for Friday and Saturday, 4 hours each day. They're going to record like 4 episodes of ROH. That's how TNA does it, right?
Either that or move Rampage to 2 hours instead of taping ROH before Rampage. Do a live ROH, or not live, but like do it as one cohesive show, like Rampage is taped.
Yeah.
And you could tape your Rampage after or before Dynamite, and you tape your ROH around Collision, but treat it like an episode of a show instead of just we're going to spam through 15 matches that we can cut up over the next few weeks.
The logistics get so hard with that because that's a big cost.
Yeah, and so the more ideal option,
live productions each week. I mean,
the more ideal option that is always present is just don't add another night of TV.
Yeah,
like if Warner wants an hour, give us an hour of the best of AEW after Dynamite. Like, just pick dope-ass matches from your 5+ years now. You could throw that out there every week after Dynamite. Most of your audience would stick around because, like, who doesn't want to see Ospreay and Omega again?
Well, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, I think that was the intention of what Dark started as, right?
Yeah. It was just supposed to be dark matches just to feature other talent, and then it became Squash Match City. It's like, How are you enhancing your talent? Like they're just getting squash matches? Cool.
Well, you guys let us know in the chat or in the comments. Hit us up on Twitter. What do you want to see them do? Do you want to see 3 hours? Because there's probably people out there who love this, right?
There's actually a poll right now that they can interact with.
How convenient that is,
Do they
Jamie?
want Dynamite for 3 hours? Or 3 hours, if you're German. I guess I have to do this now since I drive a German car. 3 hours.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't read the on special occasions option, and I just picked no effing way. But I would actually go with on special occasions as well. So I'm pretty sure that's like the landslide right now.
Yeah.
Oh, still plenty of time left to vote. All right, so let's get into it. Where do you want to start? You want to go straight through? You want to bounce? You want to bounce around a little bit tonight? What do you want to do?
No, let's go ahead and start with the belle of the ball, if you will. With Mercedes Mone. That's the official enunciation, is what we learned today.
Like a U, like
yeah. And not Monet. Even though, which was funny, after she said that, the announce team kept saying Monet, but it's Mercedes Mone, and she gave a promo, I guess. I'm gonna be a little critical. I'm gonna be critical.
I'm gonna be very critical. Go for it.
Because face Mercedes sucks. Like so bad. Like I loved heel Sasha. Heel Sasha is the best Sasha that there's ever been. That is the boss. She is the top dog. I want my CEO to be a bad guy. No one wants a CEO that they like. I'm sorry. Like, our boss, I'm not a fan of him. Not even gonna lie, if one of our people from Alert hears this, I absolutely love him. He's his treasure. But, what I'm trying to say here is I need a bad guy who's a CEO, and she is a phenomenal one. I want that. Gentlemen, do you agree, disagree, or do you have a different take?
Yeah, I agree with that, but I have a different take as well. Okay. I agree with that statement in general. Okay. And there's lots of people out there. Yes. For those of you longtime listeners, Heather can attest to this. Jamie wants everybody to be a heel. Pretty much everybody. Mostly. He prefers the heels in general, right? But 100% he is correct on this. My take is that this whole thing was last week, part 2. It was literally the exact same thing, just more of it last week. And I get it. You have a shiny new toy. Oh, I got it. You have a shiny new toy. You want to take it out at the very beginning and play with it, right? I understand. Okay. I wasn't born in a barn. I get it. I also didn't like it. I figured you could have done something more. And they try to spice it up. I mean, they very clearly define she's going to be going through the whole TBS title line, which we all liked. We all liked that thought, right? They very clearly made that line out there, and that's good. It just, you already did that all last week.
Is a retread.
Yeah. I was thinking after Dynamite ended that the show I felt like it was better than I thought it was throughout. And I think a big reason why was because this just started off the show on such a rough note. This was the sequel or the encore of the most WWE ass promo you've ever heard in AEW. She sounded like she was reading off a teleprompter. Like, it was a very robotic cadence. Mm-hmm. And I think as much as people, myself included, have historically complained about WWE overproducing their talent for promos and literally writing lines, I think some people benefit from that, and she's probably one of them. Like, I don't remember her having just bad promos in WWE. I don't remember her being like a world-class level talker, but like nothing that just didn't seem bad. This was bad. Like, it was just It was not good. I'm hoping it's meant to be insincere and that she is going to turn heel.
She's going to turn heel
before too long.
That. She has.
But if that's the case, I think we need her to be a little bit more over the top with that, because this was just like it was just robotic. It was just like spitting out lines.
Yep.
The typical face promo. Okay, I need to say, I love you fans. I love the city I'm in. I love being here in this company. I love you fans. You guys got me through tough time. I'm going to come out with a vengeance. I feel like that's what she did.
Now, what she is good at is when they did have the Julia and Sky Blue run in, and then the Willow and Chris Statlander save. And I like the kind of double turn there with the second blackout. They disappear. And there's Willow with the chair ready to beat the shit out of Sasha. And Sasha, and luckily they mic'd the ring well enough you could hear her. Are you coming after me? And she started like spitting at her. That's good. That's what Sasha's good at, right? Not an actual promo, but just shit talking kind of, right? I enjoyed that. And I think, Austin, it's inevitable. We're going to get her heel. 100%. We can't not get her heel, right?
I am hoping that by the time we get to Dynasty, we've got the TBS title on Willow and she's defending it against Mercedes. And I want to see Stokely and Statlander turn on Willow, and I want to see them paired up with Mercedes.
Stokely,
you make Willow. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
you don't want Stat talking. I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, she lacks that character and charisma. But Stokely has that in spades, which we've seen with their pairing. I think adding Mercedes to that pairing as well, and then turning Willow into an ultra babyface, not that she's not almost there already. I think that's a really good story, and that gives you more room to keep going with that same group of talent for a little while after that.
I'm with you because, Sky and Julia are kind of their own separate thing, and they can float however you need to, right? They're over. She doesn't need the title, though, right? They're young and pretty. They'll sell T-shirts. Fine, right? They can do whatever they want. Statlander, I think that goes with one of those old adages as well, Jamie, where you have the mouthpiece in Stokely, you've got the star, and then you've got the enforcer, right? I mean, these are the rails we've built for you. Put the train on it and roll into town.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think once Julia drops that TBS title, I think she just needs to be off TV for a little while. Not a super long time, but give her some time to keep training a little bit. You got her a good little featured run. You've just brought in a ton of just more polished and experienced female talent.
Oh yeah.
Let her take a back seat for a little while, and then when she comes back, mega pop because she'll still be over.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Dig it. So let's just move swiftly on to my match of the night. I don't care. There was lots of good wrestling, but this match was 100% my match of the night. You had, I know. You had the Eddie Kingston, who I love, and of course you had Okada. But the best part about it for me, the Rainmaker, Kazuchika, Okada.
Make sure you get it right. We don't want to get fined by Matthew and Nicholas.
Yes. And I'm not a level 135 in Duolingo, but I am working on that. Oh my God, though. What Matthew and Nicholas are doing right now is the Lord's work.
It's so good.
I hated them for being pompous asses before, just juvenile. But these guys, I could get behind them so much. They're so great. They are just terrible. And next week, ladies and gentlemen,
it's a subtle little adjustment that just it's like that little garlic butter you put on top of that steak, right? It's just that little bit that's like, oh.
So I do know a little Japanese. so I will learn more. Like all I know right now is like kono kuruma wa kuroi, kono shatsu wa shiroi. Like like that's what I got. So yeah, there you go. I said the car is black and the shirt is white, ladies and gentlemen. That's right.
Culture. Bam.
But anyway,
this match. Just drop it. Boom.
This match though. Am I out of bounds by thinking it's the match of the night?
This match was tailor made for you. This was technical wrestling and on a platter.
Yeah, I don't think you're out of bounds saying it was match of the night. It was match of Dynamite for me. I enjoyed. We'll get to Rampage. I enjoyed two things on Rampage a little bit more than this, but I don't think it's because of the quality of the work. I think it's just because if I'm getting Eddie and Okada, I want to see that on pay-per-view. I want to see it get a little bit more time and be a little bit more epic. And it wasn't that. It was still phenomenal. But you kind of knew how it was going to go. You knew it'd be a great match. It met expectations, but the expectations were high.
And it was slightly predictable at the end there because we all agreed it made so much sense. He's got 3 belts. He doesn't need 3 of them. He's finally challenging individually. And how about this? 2 weeks officially in the company, and Okada's already a champion.
Rightfully so.
You're right, deservedly so. But you're just adding more fuel on this whole elite fire you got going. He rolls up in the Ferrari 456 to begin with. And then, just everything about it is fantastic the way they presented it. I feel like tonight had a lot of pay-per-view-esque swings, okay? I agree. On pay-per-view, this probably would have been 5 minutes longer, and it would have been one of those like it could have gone down as like I don't want to speculate like it'd be a match of the year, but it could be up in that conversation potentially, right?
Oh, there's one match of the year right now, and that's Ospreay
by far,
and it's by a wide margin.
It's not even close, not even close. But no, I thought it was great. I thought it was good. I thought it was very enjoyable and a good way to open. And since you had this in your back pocket, you had a little more leeway to do some of the Mercedes Mone FaceTime. So whatever.
Yeah, this match was phenomenal, and I won't spend too much time talking about it because it was great, and we're getting a late start, so we're going to move this along.
Yeah.
Really quick thing, though, I do think this was good for Eddie Kingston. Eddie's not a character that I think can stay on top for too long. Like, the charm of him is he's not, like, the absolute best of the best. He just can be in spurts. So I think it's good to see Eddie come back down just a little bit. He's still got 2 more titles. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Okada does with his belt.
Yeah, he's got to lose to keep the Eddie charm, right? That's kind of his shtick, right?
Like he's like a lighter version of Ruby Soho.
Hey, Ruby.
Both of us. Tag team. Move over, Tommy Too Good.
Well, I don't know what happened, guys. We somehow lost both Austin and Jamie's sound at the same time. I'm terribly sorry. We're just going to have to go through this with just me. I'll reinterpret. I can hear what they're saying. I can reinterpret for you guys here. So we'll get. All right, you're back. I fixed that.
That should be the next.
That was weird. That was really weird. I don't know what happened.
That should be the next poll. Do you want to see JJ Joey Styles the rest of this show?
No, nobody wants to see that. Okay.
All right. So after this, obviously, we just talked about he won the Continental Classic. So the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, is your Continental Crown champion. Now, after this, though, the half match. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Yeah,
because
you skipped over Swerve promo. Swerve's getting what he wants eventually. It'll be a dynasty.
But before that, we get Swerve and Takeshita
next week.
Yes. So next week is shaping up to be pay-per-view quality as well. Putting a pin in that because not only did we get a decent Swerve promo again, Got to see a lot of Canadians trying to do the swerve dance, which was
face.
absolutely hilarious.
Super face.
I almost forgot. Did anybody notice how the Canadians were pronouncing Okada?
No.
Like with their chant, it was Okada, Okada, Okada. Like, dude, like you could hear the Canadian just oozing out of the crowd. It was the greatest thing ever. Like, I know, but like, it's like, hi, stereotype. All right, so we have Hook versus Jericho. This match sucked. Hook won though. That's all I got.
Yeah, I got a little bit of things to say on this match. In fact, I got some knowledge to drop.
Oh, please.
On this match.
This match needs some knowledge.
This does. And this knowledge is gonna come in the way of some advice to not just the gentleman in the ring or the promotion, but to wrestling in general.
Ooh.
Stop doing the fake concussion spot. It's fucking stupid. It makes all of this look extremely fake. We understand that they are more mindful of head injuries now, and there have been times where matches have been stopped, and rightfully so, because at that point, a performer is compromised. But when that does happen, it still kills the illusion. Like, it reminds you that people can get hurt, but it kills the illusion that all this is like a show and it's for entertainment. The fake concussion spot was one terrible because it makes your entire crowd. Even though most people hate Chris Jericho these days, there's little concern for a human being in there right off the bat in the match. And then they continue the match. You just suspended Sammy Guevara for continuing a match against a guy who was concussed. Why is this a story thing you're doing? This was absolutely terrible. It also did nothing for Hook. If you, Chris Jericho, are going to claim you're bringing young talent up and you're getting them over, then let Hook beat you so he can become a mega star like Powerhouse did after he beat you. Oh, wait. Or Action Andretti. Oh, wait. Or Daniel Garcia, who got over in spite of you, not because of you.
Ricky's probably the only one, and that's just because it's Ricky's Ricky.
Yeah, exactly. And Ricky was going to get over anyways because Ricky has the charisma of The Rock. Like, Ricky Starks is a star no matter what. But yeah, that is my knowledge. Stop doing the fake concussion spot, the fake head spot, because it's stupid and it kills your show.
It's one of the best stashes of knowledge I think we've ever had.
I mean, nail on the proverbial head.
Also, stop having Chris Jericho matches. Like, that's a stash of knowledge addendum. Like, can we just not do that?
All right, we're going back into stash for a second. Stop having Chris Jericho matches.
Every week he wrestles, we say the same shit.
Who is he for in the year of our Lord 2024?
It's not just us. Like that crowd did not want to see Chris Jericho in front of it. They didn't get to sing Judas.
Canadian crowd did not want to see Chris Jericho.
They didn't even get to sing Judas, so they could care even less. That's the only thing anybody wants is just to sing along with Judas. And they don't even need to do it because they can just sing someone else's theme song, which we'll talk about. Canadians turned on him, was booing his ass as he limps his broken body up the ramp. And this makes no sense because there's no end game for this. Like if you have an old broken guy, right, there's always usually you see that there's an arc, right? There's a point to this. Ric Flair would not give up wrestling. And why not? Because we knew he had to get to a retirement match with Shawn Michaels. That was the point, right? You could see it coming. There's nothing, and nobody likes it. The internet's roasting him. It's not just us. I just stop being on my TV, Chris. God damn it.
They just run out of interesting things to do with him.
They don't need him anymore.
It's just forcing him onto the show at this point.
Well, he's got too much powers. He's forcing himself on the show, but AEW does not need Chris Jericho anymore. They did when they first started, Jamie. Yeah, absolutely. They don't anymore.
as the resident Jerichoholic, Chris, I'm not your buddy guy. I'm not your guy, friend. I'm not your friend, buddy.
Okay. All right. We can.
We can move on from Chris Jericho. Unfortunately, not permanently, because I think they're running this back next week in some regard.
Wait a second. Next week he has. I have it written down somewhere here. He has a proposition for Hook, which he's going to tell him about, probably in front of the crowd next week. I don't know what he's propositioning him with. I mean, in some states that'll get you 6 months, but I have no idea.
Here's how you immediately get Hook even more over. Next week, Jericho comes out to the ring and calls down Hook for his proposition, and Hook doesn't show up. And then, like, the next segment after, you get a little pre-tape where Renee runs into Hook backstage, and he's like, yeah, I wasn't going out there. That guy's fucking weird. And then Hook just walks off. And that's the end of Hook and Jericho. And we appreciate Hook even more. Like, just once in wrestling, I want someone to, like, call someone out for a proposition or something like that, and then just be like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to do this with you.
That would make him so far over. Like next week, if he does it, like people would go nuts.
Hook still got the potential. He's only been wrestling for a few years, so his greenness can be trained out of him, right? Then you not put him on a pedestal though, and rocket him up. That's not the way.
People always say I do that. What does that even mean?
You're good with this pedestal stuff. I don't know what you.
All right. Well, speaking of pedestal, we had Adam Cole on a pedestal here, talking about how great he was with the Undisputed Kingdom, and talking about how disappointed they were with Mr. Wardlow. They almost thought of him as War Daddy. Like, I felt like that was kind of the shtick I got out of that. And he's got to protect everybody. He's back to his enforcer roots and subsequently buried until some other time.
Yeah, I remember last week saying that this was not the start of something new for Wardlow. This was just ending the thing you started with Wardlow, and now he's just Wardlow again.
And again, it doesn't work when you don't have all the parties able to play the game. So without Adam Cole the whole Wardlow world title thing makes no sense. So
but if you keep him loosely associated with the Undisputed Kingdom and kind of just like their Virgil, if you will, for the next however long until MJF returns, you could still heat Wardlow back up pretty quick with that whole thing. So,
I think as soon as Cole's healthy, you can bring that story back to fruition and actually do with it the way you want to do it, right? Okay. It's got some legs. It's not top of the card like it should have been when they first did the reveal, but you can't control when the man's leg is permanently broken. I don't even know. He's still like in a soft cast.
I mean, if he
no idea.
Straight up broke one of the bones, not just fractured, but actually broke it, that could be like a 9-month return time.
He might have like shattered it, is what it feels like, because he is. I see him other places online. He'll be on Twitch. He'll be on doing stuff with like Breeze and Claudio online. Playing video games, and they're talking, and he's talking about moving around to this day. Still like trouble moving around and being I'm like he really must have screwed that foot up bad. But
yeah, he's gonna like torn ligaments and stuff too. Like ankles can get real messed up
real quick. Even on a little guy. He's just a little guy.
They got enough guys to cover, so they don't need to worry about that. That's the good news.
Yeah, but Braun Strowman 2.0, MJF 2.0, like however you want to put it, freaking Mr. Wardlow is no longer. War Daddy is on the shelf. It was a good run. Could have been great.
Could have been
Mr. Wardlow for a long time. And they just fumbled the bag. We'll see. We will see. All right. So after this, you had the Promo of the night. No. That's incorrect. Because Don Callis' was pretty damn good because the crowd absolutely just murdered him. But this one was the face one of the night, and that was one Will Ospreay. And he told Danielson, sit at home and watch him and Shibata just tear the roof off next week. And that is yet another pay-per-view quality match. Absolutely has been a pay-per-view quality match for New Japan Wrestling in 2022. Not that I did a little research or anything, but yes, this is a match that we have seen before, and we would love to see a million times over because you know it's gonna fuck.
Yeah.
Ospreay's the
Next
most
week's
over man.
Dynamite is wild.
Oh, Ospreay's the most over man in wrestling right now, dude. He's stupid over. It's fantastic. He's not really doing anything. He's not in any feud specifically. He's not overtly being face or heel. He's just go out there and just shooting the shit with Tony Schiavone every week. And my God, the people love him. It's fantastic. I love it. It's great.
Ospreay is must-see TV in a way you don't get in pro wrestling very often. Like,
right? Is that
now that you've seen him wrestle, you want to see everything he does.
And he's like magnanimous, he's hard to understand, sort of, because he's thick British. He's got that is that Cockney British? I don't even know, but he's thick British accent, but he's just jovial and loves life and whatever. He's just there. It's captivating. It's unbelievable. I did like the little bit where he acknowledged last time he was in Toronto, he was a bit of an asshole, and he apologized. But like, it's such a nice little baby face touch, and it seemed pretty sincere as well. Like, yeah, phenomenal promo to keep you interested in Will Ospreay. But again, like, why wouldn't you be? He's the best wrestler in the world. He does the little digs too, Jamie. He does he's like, you said after you beat Shibata, he's like, why don't you try putting on my shoes? And I looked at the ring, I saw your shoes there, and I tried to put them on, but they're too damn small, bruv. So he does a little digs, but it's just him being him. It's so good. Oh.
And he's got a new shirt out on Pro Wrestling Tees or Shop AEW of Bruv.
I love the Bruv shirt, man. Oh, so good.
Which also, by the way, I don't know if you saw the Top Rope Tuesday AEW is a red variant of the Swerve House shirt, red with black.
Oh, nice.
Looks pretty nice. Yeah. You know me with red shirts. I like red shirts a lot.
And I know you with non-black shirts, even though you are
non-black.
wearing a black shirt.
Yeah, the only one wearing a black shirt.
It's dark gray. It's dark gray. It's gray heather. Okay. All right. So we had after this a lot of hype around Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa is finally back to her spot of, I never got pinned to lose this belt. This belt's mine. I'm coming back for what's mine. So you had a match between Toni Storm and Mariah Storm. Yes, I said that on purpose. With Luther. And, I'm not going to lie, gentlemen. I was left wanting in this match.
I don't feel like Deonna and Thunder matched up as good as we thought they would. Like, sometimes you put two things in a salad, and it's like, it sounds like it's gonna be great, and then you go eat that salad and you're like, that wasn't what I really expected. I still feel like Tony's a little rusty too, right? Not Tony.
What do you mean?
Thunder.
Yeah.
Rosa. Yeah. Sorry.
I'll say Tony's been carrying the women's division for 9 months. Yeah. This seems very much like they're just temporarily heating up Thunder Rosa so Tony can beat her. Take care of the she never lost the title thing. I think this suffered from the same problem the entire Tony and Deonna program up till now has. Tony's the heel, but Tony is also one of the most over acts on your show and is so legitimately entertaining. It kind of dwarfs anyone else that isn't on that level of over with the crowd, which I don't think Thunder Rosa or Deonna are. you don't really care about the other side of the match. You want to see Toni Storm be Toni Storm and Mariah May by association, but you don't really want to see the baby faces succeed because you like Toni Storm, because why wouldn't you? She's super entertaining.
And they've given no reason to want Deonna or Thunder Rosa. They've given no backing to want to get behind them.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of lukewarm angles with Toni Storm that will still be entertaining on Toni Storm's half of it until Jamie Hayter comes back. That is the other half of something you can do with Toni Storm that is super interesting, and you're not just going to like tune out of the other person because they're not Toni Storm.
Yeah, I was the big thing about this match that got me, that I was most off guard with, is Toni actually ate the pin. I was 100% expecting Mariah to eat the pin.
No, I thought Toni would do it, just because that's just kind of classic. All right, our champion's been champion and dominant for a while. And they're a bad guy. Like, they gotta take a loss somewhere. This is the place to do it. Like, you don't want your champion to lose in singles competition, but it's a good place to have your heel champion that's been the champ for 4-something months now get pinned by somebody.
Also, I'm not a fan of Thunder Rosa's new music. The music itself is fine. I don't like the beginning. I like having the Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, that old music was so good.
It was perfect. Speaking of music, Austin, have you ever heard of this band called Electric Callboy?
Jamie cannot get over this band. It's amazing. It's so good.
Like, I saw this damn video, these guys with the worst bowl cuts ever, and it's techno metal. And like, you know, they're doing this thing, and it's like, dun, 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 and like this one dude, one of the singers, has the baby hand things, the finger hands, holding a baby mic, and he's singing into it. It's the craziest thing. I'll send it to you after this, but like, they're German. That just tells you enough.
That explains everything.
Like, German music's weird. Yeah, it opens up with him like just kind of talking a little bit, and he's holding a drink, and it looks over, it's a penis-shaped drink, and then he just comes right back like, yep, this is German.
Germans are weird, man. They are very like unsuspectingly silly people. Like, they just get weird for no reason.
They've watched way too much Workaholics. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. It's Swerve versus the Butcher. Swerve dominated.
Swerve's open challenge. He wanted a big guy. Here comes Butcher.
Yeah, he wanted a big guy. This is where he calls out Joe. Joe comes out and is like, with guys like you, I gotta give you what you want, and it's me and you. Then here comes Don Callis, to my point, and just absolutely gets roasted by the crowd. And then we get Swerve versus Takeshita next week.
I mean,
and
I don't think we've
winner
had
of that goes on to face Joe.
Well, I don't think the winner of that goes on to face Joe. I think that is technically independent, but we all know what's going to happen. We haven't heard this sort of heat on Don Callis since like the height of his Kenny turn. Like,
it's pretty good.
Like, he gets heat everywhere he goes, but they were super hot on him tonight. It was fantastic.
It was glorious.
Yeah, I don't remember or not if they specifically said that the winner would go on to face Joe.
They did not.
But this does very much seem like just Swerve's next step to getting there. Although it's cool that it's presented in a way that if Takeshita were to beat Swerve next week, he would obviously be the number one contender. That being said, it's a good segue into something I wanted to bring up that I randomly thought about during this show. Where are the rankings? There were rankings for this sort of thing. We were told 4 weeks ago, no, probably at least 6 weeks ago, hey, leading into Revolution, here's who's getting title matches because they are ordered based off merit. Okay, you told me that. That was like 6 weeks ago. Where are the rankings? What happened
Also,
to the rankings?
I want to introduce you to professional wrestling, where nothing is consistent, and you should expect that things change without it being told to you.
They just came back.
Oh, I know.
Like,
It was okay. So Joe hinted at it, when he's giving his promo. He's like, usually what happens, you move to the back of the line, right? He didn't actually say the end of the rankings, but yeah, they've kind of disappeared. Yes.
yeah, it's like they launched them, and you saw Adam Copeland high enough to get his shot at Christian for the title, which he lost. And yet here he was on TV tonight wrestling for that belt again. And the rankings are gone. I want it to now turn out to be a conspiracy where someone like give me Matthew and Nicholas Jackson coming out and explaining, yeah, we don't like rankings, so we got rid of them. And give me some reason. But like, you hyped those up. Where did they go?
I'm there. I thought the same thing. I'm like, hey, while he was talking, he goes, yeah, I usually go back in line. I'm like, well, then where the hell are the rankings? Are they supposed to be coming out once a month, like once a week? And even on Being the Dark Order, formerly known as Being the Elite, which is definitely not as good as being the Elite. I'm sorry, I love the Dark Order, but it's a bit over the top. Other than you do get Jeff Jarrett every week, so there is that positive. But they even said, hey, we need to compile in so we can get up higher on the list, and it's already dead. It's like it's like Mr. Kennedy's gonna be Vince McMahon's son. It's like, no, it's Hornswoggle. Like, that's exactly what has happened.
No, yeah. Don't look behind that. Don't worry about that. No. We don't even worry. But we're moving forward. We're not going to look at
what
that.
About that little guy? Oh, I wouldn't worry about
that little guy. But so Joe basically accepts him, because he said that's the only way to treat a guy like you. And then independently, there was the thing. So they didn't specifically say, Austin, that the winner gets a shot at Joe. They just said that next week there's the match. They didn't officially book anything with Joe, but they left it as, Swerve saying, I'll take care of Takeshita next week, and then I'm coming after you, Joe.
Yeah. That's good storytelling.
We know what it means, but rankings, no, not so much.
Man, next week's Dynamite is going to be wild because we're also getting Bucks and Private Party.
Yeah. Yeah. The team who beat the Bucks for the inaugural tournament. Which I think I like that. I like that callback.
This is.
Speaking of the tag tournament really quick, we'll do a real quick aside, not full on go into it. Did y'all happen to catch Collision over the weekend?
I didn't until I caught the results first, and yeah,
I caught the results.
The show was phenomenal throughout, but yeah, there was a little upset in the tag team tournament.
A little upset,
a little bit of one. The infantrymen taking out the House of Black. You kind of didn't see that happening.
In the least. And I love Sean Dean, Charlie Bravo. But
Carly.
Come on. Carly. I always fuck that up. Jesus Christ.
I thought it was certainly a surprise. It was rad they did it. I kind of wish that would have been on Dynamite instead of Collision though. That's a flagship show level upset.
Yeah. Agreed.
But either way, good for them.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. I like the infantry. All right. So let's get on to AEW Dynamite main event. This is Christian Cage versus Adam Copeland. We've decided to start calling him Cope all the time because he's always been known as Edge, and it's really hard to call him Adam Copeland every time. So we're just going to call him Cope. So moving forward. So Cope and Christian delivered. I think that's the best way to put it. JJ hinted at something, and I will let him talk about that entrance piece that you were hinting at earlier during the Chris Jericho segment.
Entrance piece.
They singing? They singing?
Oh,
They
yes. Sorry. I was like, well,
you missed your cue.
I did miss my cue because I thought you were trying to bury me because I hinted at something else that didn't happen
Hi,
in the
Ruby.
middle of this match.
No, that's burying you.
But no. So he comes in. Of course, they're both from Toronto. Edge, though, Copeland, Cope. He's the bigger name of the two of them, naturally. But he has the same song yet in WWE. So they get out there. Fantastic. He's all in like Maple Leafs colors and stuff on his gear. And they keep singing his song hard, which was amazing. Which, again, why do we need Jericho on our TV? We can sing other people's songs too, damn it.
It's a better song anyway.
It is a better song.
All right.
So,
moving on.
You see some ones in the chest for those of you who want to see Jamie sing Alter Bridge every week.
In this, there is one very specific thing in this match I want to point out, though, that is pro wrestling at its best. You get a lot of nerds on the internet that argue about believability and it looking real. And there's times where that's really good. I want to see Eddie and Okada beating the shit out of each other. And I want to see Okada's chest with handprints on it to show those chops. That's rad. But there was a moment in this match that was for no other purpose than to pop the crowd. And not in the way that all pro wrestling is to get people to react to be entertained.
I popped.
It was specifically for the people in attendance that night, although enjoyable for anyone watching. But them putting on, you got the plant in the crowd with the Penguins jersey. Was it Penguins or Bruins?
It's Bruins, because Bruins is an original
Bruins
jersey.
team.
Yeah, they hate the Bruins.
And then
Toronto.
Edge puts it over Christian's head, and then you watch Christian just willingly put his arms through, because we're just doing that. And it's one of those things that is so obviously not a real thing that's happening in the way they want you to believe real, but it absolutely does not matter because you're about to get one of the funnest fucking things you have ever seen in a pro wrestling match. And them throwing the jerseys on and doing the hockey fight was my favorite moment of the entire night.
In the penalty box.
In the penalty box.
With the subsequent using the strap. There's a strap in the middle of back of a hockey jersey. I almost wore one of my Blues jerseys tonight just for shits and giggles. But there's a strap in the middle of them. And the point of that is it's a fight strap. You're supposed to grab that to hold on to the person and pull the jersey over the top of their head. Literally, they manufacture them that way. And he pulls the jersey over his head and beats it. It was, as a hockey fan, I was with the people in the crowd. I loved every second of that. That was amazing.
It was so good. It was
good.
Pro wrestling at its best is when it's fun. And that was one of the most fun things I've seen on a wrestling show in a long time.
I agree. Towards the end, Rihanna got really excited about the end because they busted out the handcuffs. So that was a nice touch there where Kill Switchosaurus and young Nick Wayne were handcuffed in the corners after they came out by Daddy Magic and Daniel Garcia after an amazing spot with the ladder. I love the ladder spot. But by far and away, like I agree with you, that spot with the jerseys, moment of the night.
So good.
Now we got Shayna Wayne coming out, right?
Mother Wayne.
They did call her Shayna as well too, right?
Mother
but
Wayne.
We didn't get
Only
the requisite Beth Phoenix debut like I thought we would, right?
No, but we did get. I was like, we did get Mother Wayne looking like she hit Edge in the yam bag with that hockey stick because that
she absolutely did.
And when they asked him if he quit, you could hear it in his voice. He you can't really call it high sticking because it's below waist level, but something that should put Mother Wayne in the penalty box for some time. A good 3 minutes, I'd say.
I think you classify that under hooking, is what you'd classify that under hooking, but
game misconduct.
Oh.
But no Beth Phoenix. I mean, it would have been the perfect time, but they didn't. They had Daddy Magic and Daniel Garcia come out to help. That's fine. I just thought it would have been perfect storytelling. But maybe Beth Phoenix is not going to come to AEW. Maybe she's just happy doing what she's doing. So whatever.
Being mom and doing the opening of You Think You Know Him.
Yeah.
I think
we don't know.
Is she gone from WWE? Does she still pop up and do like pre-shows occasionally, or she's full on gone?
She's full on gone, from what I understand. You know how WWE is. That doesn't mean she can't pop in for like WrestleMania weekend. They might have her come in for a show on something, you know. But
you could have a Legends deal too, where like makes the occasional appearance, but mostly it's just they use her likeness to make toys and shit.
She's not on TV. We know that.
Yeah,
she could definitely be something. Maybe she does do like corporate events or stuff like that. Who knows? But
I would love to see her get a run in AEW.
I would adore see her a little bit, right? I think of all the legacy women they brought in, you look at Madison Rayne, some of the other ones as well, right? Like, it's fine, but you could definitely tell it's like you're bringing them in well past, and they don't really want to be out there wrestling every single week, right? Beth can do it still. She has got that motor in her, and I'll see her just get a little bit of a push. That'd be cool. Just a little bit, and then boom, be done.
You know what? I'd like to see Tony Khan break the bank to make happen, although it would still be a small fraction of the money available to him. Recently, during an interview for her upcoming WWE Hall of Fame induction, Bull Nakano went on the record saying she thinks she has one match left in her. Give me Beth Phoenix and Bull Nakano. Because I think Beth not only can still go, but would be the perfect opponent for someone like Bull Nakano that really hasn't been super active in a long time. I think that match would be monumental.
Would you think that Forbidden Door 3, London, New York? What do you think?
Yes.
Any of those. Yeah. Okay.
Any.
I think because if you're pulling Bull Nakano for the final match, you're not putting it on a Wednesday night, right?
You could put that in Wembley for sure, but I think any of your pay-per-views would be great.
You usually got paid double for that kind of action, Cotton. I'm in on that deal.
Give you a number this week.
Dude, I've just been on it.
Jamie's been on fire.
I got 16 right now, ladies and gentlemen. Not that I'm keeping track.
Yeah, we always encourage everybody as you're listening along here, try counting the number of movie references. He does this all the time. Just for if you're asking the question, is yes, he does this all the time. Yeah, we're driving from Kansas City to St. Louis to go see a wrestling show. Yes, he does it during the whole drive. It happens.
Does he occasionally say you're on a mission from God?
He has before. When we went to Chicago, he did. When we got back in the car in Springfield, after we got bomb-ass Mexican food, by the way. Bomb-ass Mexican food. I drove around because it's right down the street from where my grandparents used to live when they were alive, right? You know, literally down like 3 blocks away. And all right, let's get going. Let's get back on the road and head to Chicago. He goes, yep, because we're on a mission from God. And I go, you motherfucker.
Nice. I wish as soon as we got in there, I almost was like, we got half tank of gas, 150 miles to Chicago.
We got a half tank of gas, a full pack of cigarettes. It's dark. We're wearing sunglasses, and no shit. There's one more thing there. Okay.
Yeah. You need the Sasha Banks teleprompter.
I do need a Sasha Banks teleprompter. I'm not Jamie.
No, we have a half tank of gas, full pack of smokes, 100 and something miles to Chicago.
It's dark. We're wearing sunglasses.
We're wearing sunglasses.
Hit
it. Dude. I wish I would have done that. Moving on. So the result of this was yes. Go ahead.
Repeated nut shots. Can we take a moment for repeated nut shots?
Oh. Yeah, that's where I was getting ready to go. So
go.
Christian Cage got handcuffed as well into one of the corners, and it was an attempt to explode at least 1 to 2 balls, like at minimum. Like he was just in there, like just in there, in it, trying to get him to quit. He kicked him so many damn times. Then he got Spike, the board with all the nails on it, and
the offshoot of Barbie and Janice, which is Mick Foley's barbed wire bat and Abyss's nail bound board.
So you had Spike, really on the head there, right into the I like how the yam basket. That's just absolutely great.
Right in the yam bag.
Right in the yam bag, and then he pulled it out. He's getting ready to do it again. You got an I quit from Christian.
No, he wasn't going to do that again. He was literally going to murder him on live
television.
television.
Yeah, he pulled it out and he's getting ready to smack over the head, and we got the I quit. So your new TNT champion, Adam Copeland.
I don't like
excellent.
Cope.
Yeah, you can't call him Edge. Cliff.
Why not?
We call him Cliff.
You can call him Ed G.
Ed G. Adam. What about Adam? Adam's the same number of letters. Adam. Hey, Adam.
He should have gone back to being Sexton Hardcastle.
Yes, he should have.
That's what he should have done.
I feel like this was to be a Matt Brannigan thing now.
Side note,
this was a fun conclusion to their feud. As sad as I am to see it end, I think it was probably about time for Christian's TNT title championship reign to end. Hopefully this isn't a particularly long one. I wouldn't mind seeing him drop the TNT title at Dynasty to someone a little bit younger. I don't think he needs it.
Like Daniel Garcia, because the internet is ablaze. It's going to be Daniel Garcia.
That's a fantastic idea. Hey, kid, you help me get this? I'll give you a shot, right? Fantastic. Put him over. Do it.
Either that or you've still got time after next week to pivot to Takeshita over that way.
True.
I think you need a belt on Takeshita sooner rather than later. If he doesn't take this one, I would like to see him be the one that dethrones Okada. Although Okada should have a decent little run with that Continental Championship.
Yeah, and they're moving pretty swiftly in Okada Pac right now, so
that's going to be great too.
That match that's going to be in St. Louis too. You know that, Jamie. That match is going to fuck.
and I 100% can't go.
I can't go either. I just
because I have a tournament and Megan has a scrimmage that day, and her last game of the scrimmage they said is gonna be right around 4:00. I'm like, there's no way in hell.
And
if the Loop was here, I would do it.
I need to stop spending money. I looked at tickets for it and I go, nope. So I'm like, well, maybe they're not too. No, they're bad. Never mind. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend money and just watch it. All right. So let's overall, gentlemen, what do you think of the first 2/3 of AEW Raw?
Thursday Raw Thursday on Wednesday.
Raw Thursday.
It was good. Like I was saying earlier, I felt like after the show was over, I found myself thinking that seemed better than I felt like it was throughout the night. One thing I think they did was I think they hit a lot of necessary story beats to get you to Dynasty that maybe altogether didn't make like a just blow you away episode of Dynamite like they sometimes have.
Yeah.
But it was a little more story heavy. But it wasn't like necessarily you have to tune in next week for the story points. Now you have to tune in next week for the matches they announced because hot damn. But it felt like a necessary episode to kind of fill these stories in and move it along.
I felt like the sum was greater than the whole of the parts, right?
Yeah, well said.
Because you look at it just one at a time, yeah. And you had two matches that could have been pay-per-view quality, but were a little bit down from what that would have been, simply because it's TV, time restrictions and whatever else. But when you look at it all together, even with whatever the fuck Jericho is going on here, it was overall, which I used that time, of course, to go make my dinner, because that's the perfect signal for JJ to go make dinner. Oh, Jericho's on my TV. Bye-bye. Right? I liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a lot great setup, and I think the same thing. Yeah, you can have banger. You can do a week of banger shows, and then you can come back and do this. So we did some setup. Next week it's gonna be just banger after banger after banger. It's gonna be redonkulous.
Yeah, I gotta say, that's one thing that extra annoyed me about the Jericho match. Usually that is when I go make dinner. But because they faked like he got a concussion 10 seconds in, I was like, oh, wait, maybe it's a squash and Jericho will be out of here, so I'll keep watching and hope something better comes along. And then I found myself watching that unfortunate 10 to 12 they got. I was bamboozled.
You sure were, sir. But luckily for us, ladies and gentlemen, Rampage was on right after because of the NCAA tournament. Hopefully everybody has their brackets in or are going to be working on their brackets. I currently have UConn going for the miraculous repeat in one, and the one that actually I paid money on, I have Houston. So just to let you know, they were third in the numbers. If they hit, then I hit. So it's one of those deals. Thank you, Kansas. So let's go ahead and talk about Rampage, because, gentlemen, Rampage wrestling was better. That's all I gotta say. Like, the opening match of the best friends going against the Don Callis family, that match was sensational.
I mean, you got so many different things in a singular match, right? Because you got Orange Cassidy doing Orange Cassidy things. You had Will Hobbs doing Will Hobbs things. Kyle Fletcher doing Kyle Fletcher things. Trent Beretta showing you that, like, oh yeah, he's one of these fucking killer wrestlers too, right? And it all worked together. And it was about 15 minutes or so they gave it too, so it wasn't a short match.
Time for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great tag. Like, Rampage as a whole was like a very fun wrestling or hour of wrestling.
Yep.
And yeah, I like that you got through the story stuff in Dynamite. I don't want to say got through like it wasn't enjoyable. Dynamite was still great.
Right.
But then it's like, hey, if you're gonna stick around for the next hour, here's something a little bit lighter, a little bit more action based. Here's just a good another hour of pro wrestling if you got nothing else to do with your Wednesday evening.
They did give you a quick promo at the very beginning. Yeah. They did the whole Bullet Club. The Bullet Club promo was amazing. Oh.
The skeleton. Oh no, Darby. The skeleton coming down the slide. I just Cabana Boy Jay White made me laugh.
Oh.
Like in his white linens and his big floppy hat, just enjoying the sun with his ass boys.
I love Jay doing sort of like the things that aren't related to what he's talking about whatsoever, but if you actually watch him, his mannerisms, like he talked about the gold bat he painted, and then he used it to prop his chin up as he's talking, and he's doing these things that don't tie into his promo at all, but he does it with like Tony Schiavone all the time. He uses him as like an armrest and this. I love that about Jay, because it just God, I love Jay White so much.
It was so good, and it was so much better than the promo that came after it.
Oh yeah.
Woof.
Yeah, can we just skip it?
Yep.
Because it was bad. I mean, yes, they got challenged. Cool.
Time for the Acclaim to drop the belts.
Yeah, and it's time for the Acclaim to turn heel as well, because like the crowd was not into them early on. The AEW crowds are still going to go along with any chance you give them. They're going to pop for your signature shit. They still threw the scissors up at the end, but it was almost awkward how much they just did not look at the Acclaimed as baby faces. And it's time to drop titles and split them from daddy ass, make them heels.
This is swing two of what they've done with the Acclaim, because when they gave them the tag titles, it was the perfect timing, right? They hit him right when it was like peak Acclaimed. Cool. Got the titles. Did have to do with them. They eventually dropped them pretty quickly, thank God. And then through that whole injury thing and the thing with, Daddy Ass, how that came out of nowhere, they found gold and they ran with it. And they ran with it magnificently, got them the trios titles, and that worked out great. And ever since then, it's just been just flatline.
Yeah,
it's wild too, looking back, because if you look at when the Acclaimed split from the Gun Club and Gun Club turned heel, Acclaimed became super over baby faces, and you saw Gun Club as like they still got a ways to go.
Yeah.
But just look at the difference in the two promos to start the show. We talked about Jay White, rightfully, because he's phenomenal at talking, but the Ass Boys threw out a really good promo themselves.
Yep.
They're great, man.
All right, so Best Friends Don Callis family we already talked about. We had 3 other matches.
We did. We definitely did. So after this, you had Shibata going against Kevin Matthews, local competitor. Went quick. He got submitted. Good old rear naked choke. It was awesome. Pretty easy.
It was awesome, but I don't need to see Shibata wrestling local indie talent. Like, give him one of your roster guys to beat up in 3 minutes or whatever you need.
You also got four matches to squeeze in like 40 minutes.
Yeah, it could still be a short squash, but like have him choke out Action Andretti.
That seems to be your answer to everything.
That's about all he's good for.
Andretti out there to get squashed.
Go out there and eat a pin. Do 1 or 2 flips and then get your shit handed to you.
Matt Sydal, you could have put out there. You could have put a bunch of people. I hear you.
But it's still cool seeing Shibata on TV, so I'm not going to complain too much.
Well, he's in. You're building a big match next week. You got to put him on your TV this week.
For sure. All right. So the next match was by far, in a way, probably the best wrestling that we had all night.
I disagree with that statement, but go ahead.
Other than Okada and Eddie Kingston, but Takeshita versus Rocky Romero. Takeshita's on a whole nother level than 90% of the people out there, and it is staggering to see.
And also, Rocky Romero is on a whole different level than 90% of the people out there. You just forget about it. But when you get to see it and get reminded, it's always a fucking treat.
I mean, he's always been like this. It was like this in New Japan. It was like this in Impact Wrestling. It's like, oh yeah, this guy can go. I forget that, right?
He's so good. And he's the perfect guy to throw out there with Takeshita and Ospreay and all those kind of guys, just to have them get a really good showing in front of your crowd against a dude that can keep up with them.
Yeah. But this is meant for Takeshita to get that same thing like Shibata, right? He's got a match next week. Got to get him out there. It was a good match, and it got decent time too. It was like, I think it was like 10 minutes too. It got.
That's one thing I really appreciate about the top guys in AEW for the most part. Because you look at this, you look at Ospreay and Fletcher on Dynamite a few weeks ago. You've got these dudes that are like the top of your card, most elite wrestlers in the world, but they'll go like 8 to 10 on TV and take a bunch of bumps for somebody and make someone else look good at the same time.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Have we arrived?
We've arrived at Julia Hart, Sky Bluty, Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale. And I will say for the record, this is probably the most I've ever seen Sky Blue's butt covered in a match. So I definitely want to put that out there in the universe that her butt was covered. But honestly, I know. So I had my match that tripped my trigger. This is definitely the match that tripped JJ's trigger.
This was my match of the night, and it wasn't even close, ladies and gentlemen.
Shocker.
All right. Not just because it was just a blender of violence, cacophony together. And there was tacks and table. I loved it. I always love a good street fight. I do indeed. I especially like, me and also were talking about this before the show, women's street fights seem to be like AEW's bread and butter almost. They nail them every time. I mean, Ty Mello, if I said, what's Ty Mello's best match in AEW?
Street fight with Anna
Street
Jay.
fight with Anna Jay and Bunny and
Penelope. And Bunny.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. So they got about 8 minutes of scheduled airtime, ended up being a good 12. I think they got total, give or take. And it was all right. So you guys, at the end of the show, we had to run some stuff. So you just do all the spots right in a row. And they did. It was just bang, 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 bang. It was table, chair, extra tables, more tables, barbed wire, do this, announce table. Now you jump off of this top thing here, and now we do tax, more tax, even more tax. Do this, chairs again. Do this, fucking go. And I loved it. It was so good. I love Sky took like so many fucking bumps in this in a row too. I told Austin it felt as well. Hey, all y'all are young. Go out there and just destroy each other. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Our old asses, not so much. So
yeah. So with this match, I think we got to go right back to the very beginning and point out. I don't know if Sky Blue and Julia Hart are even good friends anymore. They might just be regular friends because they had separate entrances tonight. Sky Blue didn't get to come do the Spooky Girl entrance. She had her own entrance. But yeah, Takeshita and Rocky Romero was my match of the night. I don't know if it was definitely better than Eddie and Okada, but it surprised me with how good as it was, and I wasn't expecting it to even happen. So that was my match of the night. This was my favorite match of the night. I just enjoyed this. Like I said earlier, pro wrestling's at its best when it's fun, and AEW women's street fights are always fun because you don't get to see women's wrestling get that violent. And I don't even mean violent in like a bad way. I mean in the fun pro wrestling way. You got tax, you got table spots, you got all kinds of cool shit. And it was a real fun Rampage main event. They killed it. Plenty of credit to all women involved. But at this point, I'm just going to say Chris Statlander don't miss anymore. Statlander has been on a string of just really good matches with anybody you put her in there with. And she took some bumps herself in this one.
I mean, the whole Statlander tack thing with Sky Blue, she's sitting here like helping out Sky Blue on national television, literally. It's like, no, you're going to do this. You're going to pull the shirt over my head and kick me, and then you're going to powerbomb me immediately into this giant pile of tacks. Let's go, right? Kudos to her.
It was excellent.
Plus, I mean, that code blue on the announce table that didn't break like it should have.
That's pretty.
And then the table spot at the end, too, with Willow and Sky.
Oh, yeah, because the Willow takes Sky up. It does like a DVD into two tables, right? Was it DVD? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Dude, there was lots of great spots. Like, this match was... It didn't miss. Like, that's all there is to it. You know, like, you had a really good pairing because you had Willow and Chris, who, to your guys' point, are on heaters, both of them respectfully. And then, you know, when you have people who can go like that with two relatively green people, but that are still capable, this is what you get. You get gold. And this was just, woo.
We got big Rob popping up in the chat. He just got done watching Rob? Rampage. We just got done talking about Rampage.
Go back and watch the replay here. We have some good things to say. So. It's good to see.
Don't forget to like and subscribe button. Oh, you're already subscribed.
He's already subscribed.
He's a regular. He goes here.
He's a regular. First time caller.
Now we've actually.
Big Rob is like our Norm from Cheers.
He's our Norm. We got a Norm.
No, it's Norm. Now, I do like the point you said as well too. We talked about AEW women's street fights, right? Now that's not the only place, because we've seen shit. We just saw in St. Louis when you and I went up there a few weeks ago, Jamie. We saw some killer women's fights going at it. You know, Maki Ito, Sawyer Wreck.
To be clear, I meant on TV. Like indies.
No. I'm hearing it, but I'm saying there is other ones that are out there. Is the point? But you're right. On TV, no one else does this. WWE kind of did a little bit of it back in the day-ish, right? You know, we were there when the man was born on the bloody, Raw versus SmackDown thing going on, but not really since then.
Yeah,
when WWE does like hardcore or no DQ or those kind of matches with the women, it always looks too safe. Like
very scripted,
almost in a condescending way where they're babying them. Like you get occasionally like a fun table or a ladder spot, And somewhat with the men as well. Like you really don't get blood anymore, but that's their policy. But you get men doing a little bit crazier shit. Like I've seen Samurai Del Sol or Kalisto as was at the time do the code red off the ladder through another ladder. Like they do that kind of stuff. You don't really see them let the women get to do that. And yet here you get tacks, multiple table spots, just all kinds of just good stuff.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I mean, hell, your wife's got a hardcore match coming up down in Houston here shortly, doesn't she?
Not anymore.
What?
The card's subject to change.
Cards are subject to change, ladies and gentlemen. That is wrestling.
It has she cut the promo. If you didn't see it, I would go watch Heidi Howitzer's promo about Matt Locke. It's on her Twitter, probably her Instagram too. She's very good at the social media.
Matt Locke.
I believe I heard today or yesterday that Mr. Matt Locke may or may not be able to attend the show anymore. I believe due to injury reasons or something like that. But give my good friends over at WrestleRave a follow on Twitter, as they have just another match or two to announce, which will be one including Miss Heidi Howitzer, also one including me, maybe even a tag team effort. We'll see. But give them a follow, and we'll find out before too long.
Absolutely.
Exciting.
And when is that show again?
That is a week from Saturday, March 30th, at the Houston Premier Arena. Don't let the name fool you. It is basically a shed in a somewhat industrial district. Probably the worst building I've ever wrestled in. As in the quality of the building. But there is a super cool, like, punk rock vibe to the shows there. Because you're in this, like, shitty kind of abandoned warehouse building. But there's a dope-ass pro wrestling show going on. Like, they don't have a traditional bar. They've got a motherfucker with a cooler and a couple of bottles that'll, like, pour you a mixed drink or hand you a beer for a few bucks. It's a good time.
So, for those of you in or around the greater Houston Metroplex area, week from Saturday, get yourself down to check out some. If you've never been to a nice independent wrestling show, this sounds like the perfect start.
Yeah, WrestleRave's a good time. So come on down if you are available that evening and somewhat local to Houston.
All right. Shit. Well, we will be back. Do you guys have anything else you want to get into?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we did kind of glean over was WWE allowing some of their wrestlers to wrestle in GCW.
I found that incredibly odd, but not totally surprising.
It's a nice change. I'd like to see him do more of that. Like, work with other companies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wonder, because it's part of the GCW collective. The collective, for those of you not familiar with GCW, is GCW's collective, their grouping of shows around like the big pay-per-view weekends, right? WrestleMania, All Out, SummerSlam, stuff like that, right? They'll go to the same city, just like other independent promotions will, and they're going to put on wrestling shows. They group them all together under AEW. You can buy the collective as like one thing on Triller TV, right? You get like 6 or 7 different. It's actually a really good value. So that's where you got Big Gay Brunch, got Joey Janela's Spring Break. Doesn't matter what time of year it is. It's always Joey Janela's Spring Break.
Well,
you got World of Lucha, which is usually Gringo Loco puts that one on. And one of the ones that's there is Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, meant to be the fighting one. This is for like serious fighters, right? Fighting fighters. And Josh Barnett and Triple H have a very good friendship and relationship. So in part, I don't know if it's just because of that they say, hey, for him, sure. Or if this is opening the door to give them some more possibilities. Now, you're not going to go see AJ Styles at Glory Pro which, I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be cool as hell, but let's be real here. I think it's going to be very selective what AEW is going to allow, WWE is going to allow them. We'll see. So the one they've announced thus far, Shayna Baszler, and she's going to be fighting Masha Slamovich at Bloodsport. and I want to see that fight.
Oh, yeah, that'll be a good one.
Yeah, my understanding is that there are more to come. So we will see who else comes from the WWE, but it's gonna be some of those MMA folk.
Settle down, Rob. Settle down. Okay.
So Anthony in the chat had a good question. Are they going to use this connection to get their NXT or Performance Center people out on the indies? They've actually been doing a little bit of that. They've had like half a dozen or so NXT talent perform at Booker T's ROW down in Houston.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it would be a good opportunity for a few of them. There are some that do need a little work, and some of them who just need a little bit more notoriety, So, I mean, that's a great thing about the indies is obviously you can get both. I mean, one of the most notorious people that I know is married to Austin, like the mouth. Like she is the embodiment of mouth from Goonies, like it's the best thing ever, but she's a great worker and everything. And eventually she's going to make it big. It's going to be a beautiful thing for everybody. But it's great for these folks like Thea Hale. I love her. She's just green. She needs the work, and get her out there. They got some young guys too that are pretty good. Hell, they got Brogan Finley.
I know. I'm so happy to see Brogan in there, man. I don't know was he. I don't remember what he's going by now, but I was like Brogan because we saw him at Anarchy, and we're like, bro.
I mean, he's got pedigree. He is Finley's kid, so
yes, true. But
either way, the more people that are under contracts and get out there and show up different places a little bit, the better for the industry as a whole.
So I'll answer that for Austin here, Rob. So the back in the days when we loved it, pre-AEW, it was definitely like that was the path for indie guys. That's why you saw Samoa Joe and Adam Cole. You saw all the indie guys going in through the Performance Center, and then Vince got his teeth into it and didn't want to have any independent wrestlers. We're entertainers. We're going to colleges and getting volleyball players and, college football players. And that's what it was internet, Instagram celebrities. And now it's become a mixture thereof, right? So the way of that, Austin and I think that HBK, he runs NXT, but I think he's got a good hand in the Performance Center as well. And a few others do too. I know Tyler Breeze is involved with it. A few other guys, right? They like that good mixture. They want people that have that talent, that are out there doing this stuff on the indies, but also they're looking for people that have the charisma. And if you look at the roster, you see that. You see somebody like JC Jane, who she's an okay wrestler. She's not like totally green, but she is definitely more of a character person. And she's got fantastic character work, right? As opposed to when you see other ones. I can't remember. Was it Solda Luca or something? Well, oh, God damn, I'm butchering her.
Oraka.
Yes. She has got all the athleticism in the world, and I've yet to hear her say a word. So, I mean, they have a good mixture is kind of what they got going on now. So, which is not a bad plan. I think it's great if they do stuff. Like Austin said, if they do, Booker T's makes sense because Booker T. But if they start letting him kind of branch out a little bit, I mean, that's good for them because you're giving them real world experience and exposure, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think they're still prioritizing signing D1 athletes and models and shit like that and just molding people on their own. But yeah, they are bringing a few people from the indies. To answer your other question, Anthony, I have not wrestled at Fort Bragg in an airplane hangar. I did wrestle in an airplane hangar at some military installation in Louisiana once, and that was pretty dope. So I'd definitely be down to wrestle in one again.
So if you could DM us, if you hook us up with a connection, we'll get Austin Reddick in a hangar at Fort Bragg. Let's make it happen.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Somebody. The whole crew will go. We'll make a thing of it.
We'll make a thing. It'll be a whole thing. We'll do a thing. There'll be a spread. It's gonna be fantastic.
The total Spotfest tribute to the troops.
Yeah. And for $10, ladies and gentlemen, you could throw insults at JJ about Ruby Rose, Ruby Riot, Ruby Soho, whatever you want to call her.
You started off okay. Good recovery, Jamie. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our time for the evening. We're gonna end on that. Okay. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. We'll be back here, same bad time, same bad channel next week. Should be a total banger show, and we're not far off from WrestleMania. So we got WrestleMania coming up here in a couple weeks, and then we are gonna have Dynasty shortly thereafter, and that belt is getting put up both times. If you weren't here last week, we agreed upon it. It is getting put up at both of those. So, Austin.
Oh, hold on. I got to give him the spoiler just so you are prepared, sir. Megan is all in on wrestling again. And so she decided, because she's getting prepared for WWE, for WrestleMania. She knew what the current card is. She knew what the current card is. So she picked her picks. And then she went out to look at the betting odds. She was 100% on what is favored currently.
So what you're saying is if I just stick with the Vegas odds, I'll just tie and keep my title because I'm really good at picking the time of matches.
That's true. That is true. I'm just saying, like, shit's getting real.
It's because a working champion like me, I do my homework.
Well,
I'm just wait. I'm on my Roman Reigns run. I'm in my Roman Reigns era. I'm gonna hold this bitch for like 4 years.
You said that last time, and you lasted one pay-per-view. Okay,
I'm gonna say it every time, and then when I lose, I'll make an excuse until I win it again, and then I'll act like I was right the entire time. That's how this works.
That sounds about right. Well, we're gonna head out.
Well, hold on, Anthony. Anthony just threw a curveball at us at the very end here. So, do you guys honestly feel that eventually, next in line program where other companies copy that same model that WWE is doing, like AEW and TNA? I don't think anybody's ever going to copy what WWE does anymore. I mean, GCW is very successful with what it's doing. Hell, one of the best experiences in wrestling I've ever had was at Lucha Libres and Laughs. You know, like that model is nothing like anything out there. Now, is that something that would be sustainable on TV? Maybe. I think it's cool. But I don't think anybody's ever going to go that route.
There's only so much room in that pie pan is my problem with that, right? You know, and you're going to have WWE is going to have the majority of that pie pan every time, right? AEW is taking up a sizable chunk out of it, right? But I just don't see, because it's not some, I mean, and AEW is only getting to the level they're at. I don't want to say same level as WWE because it's a totally different business mindset in the way the two companies work, right? But the only reason they're getting there because they have an owner who has pockets that don't end. Let's be honest, okay?
That's fair.
There was an inline for how much money WCW was going to put into their product when it started to go down. They said F it and got out, right? TNA reshaped their business, sold it off to Anthem. Anthem's going with the way that they're going with it. MLW is trying to make a comeback here, but it's never going to be what we hoped it to be. You know, it's always going to be that kind of mid-major sort of thing. So I just don't, and I don't know if you had it, if you had a WWE clone out there, where, I mean, I just don't see where would it slot in, you know? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be. I didn't expect AEW to come along until we heard about it. And we're like, hey, another option. And then it ended up being what it is. So it gives you two options. I don't know if there's a place for a third, to be real.
Yeah, I think pro wrestling in general is just a medium. It's a way to entertain and tell stories, and it doesn't have to be one specific thing. And I think every company that has a big enough audience to be worth paying attention to should have its own unique identity. And we do pro wrestling this way here. We do pro wrestling that way over there. That's just better for wrestling as a whole. You're going to have some fans that will watch any wrestling they can find, but you're also going to have people with preferences. I have certain bands I like and certain artists I just don't listen to because that's not the kind of thing I enjoy. But it's good that there's just more people out there making music. It's going to catch more people, just be better for music as a whole. And you could put that with movies or any other kind of entertainment you want. So I hope no one copies anyone else's model. Don't do what someone else is doing because they're already doing it. Have your own thing and give us something different, exciting to watch every week. And we'll probably tune in.
And I think the best analogy is this. If you look at pickup trucks, okay? In America, you have, because you're asking about major American promotions, Anthony. So I think if you think about this, think about pickup trucks. In America, you got Ford, you got Chevy, and you got Ram, right? Those big three, right? People fit into those categories, and they're hard and fast about which pickup truck they're loyal to, okay? Is that the only pickup trucks that are out there? Absolutely not. You got Toyota pops in, Nissan. You got startups like Rivian that come in, and they'll cut out. But how are you ever going to challenge Ford if you're not somebody? You won't. You just won't.
Yeah, especially if you're just making another F-150. Like, you got to do something different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And at some point, even if you put all the same amount of money and effort into that F-150, people are going to be like, well, it's just an F-150. I've always bought F-150. Screw you, right? So people are always going to go back to WWE, and it's always going to be the biggest player in the game. That's just how it is, Yeah.
They're the vanilla ice cream of wrestling. It's there.
Which I do like vanilla ice cream, not going to lie.
Yeah, I do too. Like Vanilla Bean is one of my best. That's like all-time favorites, but then like I'm personally a mint chip guy. That's more AEW, but then maybe somebody's chocolate chip cookie dough. Of course, I'm going fat boy shit and going right to the ice cream. But
I like double chocolate fudge with brownies. Ooh, yeah.
See, at the end of the day, as long as it's made well, all ice cream's good. So you can just enjoy whatever flavor you like.
But it is a fantastic question and a great talking point to bring up, Anthony. So thank you. I appreciate that. That's very good.
I like it. I like these kind of questions. Bring more.
Right. Well, we are going to get out of here because one of us has to wake up in like 4 hours. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will see you guys next week. Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down to Spotfest, I got 5 words for you. AEW Dynamite. Read it on.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Later.
Oh, my button's not working. Damn it. Work button.